Israel held an important meeting of the Aliyah and Absorption Committee that addressed the status of great-grandchildren of Jews, the so-called fourth generation. The issue sparked widespread public debate as it directly affects the right of thousands of families to return to Israel and obtain citizenship under the law of return. The outcome of the meeting was long awaited. Israel's Ministry of the Interior officially canceled all the changes introduced earlier and restored the previous rules for obtaining citizenship. This decision became a real turning point, especially for those whose applications had been suspended or rejected in recent months. The rules are once again clear and transparent, and the path to repatriation is open again for everyone who has Jewish roots. You're watching Visa Den, the channel where we make immigration, visas, residence permits, and citizenship clear and achievable. I'm Mia, and today we're talking about a decision that has changed the situation for thousands of families. Let's start with what actually happened. In August 2025, Israel's Ministry of the Interior introduced an internal instruction without broad public discussion. That instruction significantly limited the rights of descendants of Jews in the fourth generation. In practice, it narrowed the scope of the law of return, which has been in force since 1950. Previously, great-grandchildren of Jews could obtain permanent residency and later apply for citizenship. Under the new instruction, this option was allowed only in so-called exceptional cases. In reality, this meant that dozens of families who were already living in Israel suddenly found themselves in limbo. Some were denied extensions of permanent residency, others were refused citizenship altogether. But in November 2025, members of Knesset succeeded in overturning these changes completely. The Ministry of the Interior officially confirmed that the previous rules were reinstated, meaning that the repatriation process for the fourth generation is once again functioning normally. This means that great-grandchildren of Jews can again obtain Israeli citizenship if certain conditions are met. And this is a major step forward, restoring historical fairness. So, how does this work in practice? If you are a descendant of Jews in the fourth generation, you can obtain permanent residency in Israel after 3 years of living in the country, provided that your center of life is genuinely in Israel. You rent or you own housing, work, your children attend school, you're registered with a health fund, you can apply for citizenship. This is the same procedure that worked for many years, and it is exactly this system that has now been restored. For Israeli authorities, the key factor is proof of your center of life. This is not about short visits, but about real everyday residence. Supporting documents may include a rental agreement, utility bills, health insurance, registration, and children's enrollment in the Israeli education system. When these elements are in place, citizenship is usually granted without serious complications. And here is something many people don't realize. Israeli citizenship can be obtained without giving up your current passport. Israel allows dual citizenship. Now let's take a closer look at the law of return itself. It was adopted in 1950 and established the right of every Jew as well as their children, grandchildren, and spouses to return to Israel and receive citizenship. The goal of the law was to ensure that every Jew and their descendants could return to their historical homeland. In 1970, important amendments were introduced that expanded its scope. These amendments granted the right of repatriation to children and grandchildren of Jews through the maternal line, as well as to spouses of children and grandchildren, even if they themselves are not Jewish. That same year, the law also defined who is considered Jewish: a person born to a Jewish mother who has not adopted another religion, or a person who has undergone a recognized conversion. Great-grandchildren of Jews fall into a special category. They do not receive automatic citizenship, but they are eligible for permanent residency with the right to live in Israel, and after 3 years, they can apply for citizenship. This pathway works in practice as long as the center of life is genuinely in Israel. At its core, the law of return is not just a legal mechanism. It is a historical mission of Israel to bring back everyone connected to the Jewish people and their culture. So, who can obtain Israeli citizenship today under the restored rules? There are 3 main pathways. The first is repatriation under the law of return. If you have Jewish roots through your mother, father, grandmother, or grandfather, you may be eligible to apply. Israel recognizes both religious and ethnic origin. The second path is naturalization after 3 years of permanent residency. If you already live in Israel as a permanent resident, can prove your center of life in the country, and are ready to renounce other immigration statuses, you can apply for citizenship. The third option is marriage to an Israeli citizen. After several years of living together in Israel, a foreign spouse may also obtain citizenship. If you are a descendant of Jews but are not sure whether you still have the necessary documents, don't rush to give up. In many cases, missing proof can be restored through archives, including those in other countries. What is required for the application process? First, documents confirming Jewish origin, such as archival certificates, birth records, or documents of ancestors. Second, proof of the family connection between you and your Jewish ancestor. Third, police clearance certificates, certified translations, and apostilles. And finally, proof of your center of life in Israel, rental agreements, utility bills, medical records, children's education, and more. In reality, many families face the same challenge. Documents have been lost, archives are difficult to access, or official requests are required. This is exactly where professional migration support becomes essential, and where the Visa Dan team comes in. In fact, roughly every third Israeli citizenship case requires additional archival confirmation. This is solvable as long as you know where and how to search. Visa Dan supports clients through the entire Israeli citizenship process on a turnkey basis. We conduct an initial eligibility assessment, search for confirmation in archives in Israel, the CIS, and Europe, prepare documents in line with Ministry of the Interior requirements, and handle translations and legalization. Most importantly, we don't just submit documents, we accompany our clients at every stage, all the way to receiving an Israeli passport. Our goal is not simply to obtain visa or citizenship for you, but to make the entire process fast, predictable, and safe. So, what does Israeli citizenship give you? The right to live and work without restrictions, access to public health care, visa-free travel to more than 160 countries, tax benefits for new immigrants, including exemption from tax on foreign income for up to 10 years, the ability to relocate your entire family, and full social benefits on par with Israeli citizens. Israel is not just a country. It's an opportunity to start a new life in a developed society, maintain a connection to your roots, and hold a strong passport recognized worldwide. Why is it important to act now? Although the restrictions have been lifted, Israel's migration system is known for frequent internal adjustments. Past experience shows that internal instructions can change without public discussion. That's why if you or your relatives have Jewish roots, it's important not to delay. Right now, it is an optimal time to begin the process. VisaDent will develop a strategy tailored to your case, review your documents, help collect proof of origin, and take your case all the way to successful result. We work with clients from different countries and make the process clear and transparent as possible. The decision to cancel the August restrictions became a real relief for thousands of families. Israel has confirmed that its doors remain open to descendants of Jews. Today, the chance to obtain citizenship is once again real for everyone connected to the Jewish people by blood or by spirit. If you're considering Israeli citizenship or want to check whether you're eligible for repatriation, reach out to us. The VisaDent team will conduct a free eligibility assessment and propose the optimal pathway for your case. This was Mia with VisaDent team. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss updates on laws, visas, and citizenship. See you in the next video.